Let's integrate a cosine to the fourth. Now we're going to use one of our power reduction formulas. We're going to use cosine squared, but right now we've got cosine to the fourth. So the very first thing I'm going to do is to change this into a power of 2 all to the second power. So we're going to rewrite this as cosine squared 5x all to the second power, and then a dx. Now I can apply my formula for the power reduction of cosine inside of the parenthesis. As I do that, I end up with the integral parentheses. Here comes my power reduction formula on the inside. I get that fraction 1 plus cosine 2 times theta, but in this case, theta is equal to 5x. So that's going to be 2 times 5x, all divided by 2. And this is all squared and then a dx. Let's start simplifying this. In my numerator, I'm going to need to take that binomial 1 plus cosine, and this is a 10x. I'm going to need to square that binomial. In the denominator, I'm squaring 2, so that becomes a 4, and this is a dx. As I continue to simplify, let's bring that 4 out in front and think of that really as a 1/4, and then we can square what I've got on the inside. Okay, so what do I have? I've got a 1/4 here. I need to square that 1 plus cosine 10x. So I'm really going to FOIL this guy through. So I'm going to take that times itself, 1 plus cosine 10x, and then all a dx. Okay, let's go ahead and FOIL. I'm going to need a lot more room, and let's keep going. Okay, so doing our FOIL, first is going to be 1 times 1. My inner is a 1 times cosine 10x. My outer is also a 1 times cosine 10x. That's going to be 2 of them. So plus 2 cosine 10x. That's a cosine. And then on the end, cosine times cosine. So I get a cosine squared. So cosine squared of 10x. And this is all, of course, a dx. Now, as I work my way through here, I can take the integral of 1. Let me actually write down what I've got here. So this is a 1/4 times everybody. I can take the integral of 1. The integral of 1 dx is equal to x. I can also integrate 2 cosine 10x. As I take the integral there, I get 2 as my multiplier. It's positive. The antiderivative of cosine is sine 10x. But I've got that multiplier 10 on the inside, so I end up dividing by a 10. And you could check that with a u substitution. And then on the end there, I'm not ready to integrate that. So I'm going to write this as plus the integral of cosine squared 10x dx. That last integral is going to need another power reduction. Now there is a plus c floating around. I'm just going to hopefully remember to put that in at the very end. Let's move this up. I'm also going to multiply our 1/4 through, otherwise I just know I'm going to forget it somewhere along the way. So I've got 1/4 times x, that's going to be an x divided by 4. Let's reduce the 2/10, that gives me a 5 in the denominator, and then 1/4 times that 5 is going to be a 20 in the denominator, and I get the sine of 10x. And then I've got plus 1/4 cosine squared of 10x. Let's go ahead and apply that formula to our cosine squared. Now here, theta is equal to 10x. So when I get to the double the angle formula, I'm going to use a 10x. Okay, so we end up with 1 plus cosine of our angle doubled. So that's going to be 10 times 2, so 20x. All divided by 2, and there is a dx there. And I'm just going to drop my plus c for now. I'm going to keep all of this stuff. So I've got my x over 4. I've got my sine of 10x over 20. over 20. So plus, let's take that divided by 2 out in front also. So I'm going to take that 1/4 and multiply it times 1/2, so that becomes a 1/8 out in front. On the inside, I've got a 1 to integrate, and I've got a cosine of 20x to integrate dx. So this is x divided by 4, plus I still have my sine of 10x divided by 20, plus, let's go ahead and integrate this. I've got 1/8, and I'm going to take the integral of 1. The integral of 1 is x. So I have plus 1/8 times x, plus, I'm going to do 1/8 times the integral of cosine, so plus 1/8. The antiderivative of cosine is sine, so I get a sine of 20x. And because I've got that multiplier of 20, I'm going to divide by that 20. I'll throw this plus c in there. Oh my gosh, I am just about there. And here comes our answer. So I've got my x/4, I've got my sine 10x over 20, plus x over 8. You could combine these, plus sine of 20x, all divided by 160 plus AC. Now, if you did combine those would end up to be 3x divided by 8, but we're going to call it good. We've got our answer here. You're doing so great. Take a look at this next video, and thanks so much for watching.